Hello? Don't you check them before you lock up? What?
Welcome back, Warner fam. Today, we're diving into a creepy little nightmare from 2004 called Creep. So turn off the lights, lock your doors, and don't blink, because something nasty is waiting down in the dark. The story begins deep under the busy streets of London, where two sewer workers, Arthur and George, are just trying to do their dirty job. It's wet, it's smelly, it's the kind of place where horror loves to hide. While checking out a wall, they spot a strange tunnel that wasn't there before. Weird, right? Arthur decides to be brave, or just plain stupid, and crawls into the tunnel alone. But he doesn't come back. No sound, no scream, just silence. George waits, then decides to go after him. But when George finds him, Arthur's barely alive, shaking like a kid who saw something really bad. Before they can even breathe, a young woman, bloody and terrified, jumps out of the dark, screaming for help. And just like a bad magic trick, she's yanked back into the black by something unseen. That's the moment the sewer goes from gross to haunted house with no exit. Because when something lives in the walls, and it's hungry, you're not a worker anymore. You're just meat in a maze. Now the story shifts its creepy spotlight onto Kate, a young woman from Germany who's just trying to have a good night out. She's at a loud, wild party when she hears a rumor. George Clooney might be at another party across town. And like anyone chasing stars, she grabs her coat and heads off to find him. But there's a problem: no taxis. So Kate makes her way to Charing Cross Tube Station, hoping to catch a train. The station is cold, quiet, and kinda sketchy, but she's tired, so she sits down to wait. Bad idea, really bad idea. Kate dozes off, and when she wakes up, everyone's gone. No people, no sound, just metal doors locked shut behind her like she's been sealed inside a giant trap. An empty train slowly creeps into the station like it's been waiting for her. Kate gets on, hoping for a ride home, but the train suddenly stops. She looks for the conductor, but no one's there. What she doesn't know is he's already dead. Then comes Guy, some sketchy dude she met at the party earlier. He shows up out of nowhere, high on something and way too handsy. Kate tells him to back off, but he doesn't listen. Right when things get terrifying, something in the dark grabs Guy and yanks him into the shadows. Kate's not just stuck underground anymore. She's trapped in a moving nightmare, and something else is down there with her, and it doesn't like to share. Kate escapes the train like her life depends on it, because it does, and stumbles into a dark part of the station where she meets two homeless people, Jimmy and Mandy, and their tiny but tough Jack Russell named Ray. She tells them about the attack, her voice shaking. Jimmy doesn't believe her at first, until money makes him suddenly more helpful. While Kate and Jimmy head off, poor Mandy is left behind, and she won't be alone for long. They find Guy again, lying on the tracks, but he's not moving. His back looks like it was clawed by something wild, something hungry. They drag him onto the platform just as little Ray trots up, his fur soaked in blood like a tiny four-legged crime scene. Jimmy's face changes fast. He knows something happened to Mandy. He grabs Ray and runs back to their makeshift shelter, but she's gone. Kate, now desperate, finds a speaker and begs a watchman for help. But the man behind the screen doesn't trust her. He tells her to show him the injured Guy on camera to prove she's not lying. So she drags Guy's broken body into view. But it's too late. Guy dies right then and there. And the watchman? Yeah, he doesn't even get a chance to call for help. The stalker slices his throat like butter. Kate runs back to Jimmy, only to find him dazed and out of it, his arms full of drugs. She shakes him, pleads with him, and finally convinces him to help search for Mandy and escape the station. They explore the dark tunnels together, creeping through shadows, when a train suddenly appears. Jimmy gets on first, but the creep was already there, waiting on the roof like a spider in its web. Jimmy's gone before he can scream. Kate runs again, deeper into the sewer system, heart pounding like a drum. But she's not alone for long. The killer finds her. He's not a ghost. He's not a monster. He's something worse. A twisted, broken man called Craig, better known down there as the Creep. Kate's eyes snap open, and she realizes she's trapped in a dark, water-filled cage, deep below the surface, like some kind of sick storage unit. Her heart races as she sees a familiar face in the shadows. George, still alive, but just as stuck as she is. It's a race against time now. She's not just trapped in a cage. She's food for that monster. Just when Craig creeps closer, ready to turn them into his next meal, Kate finds the courage to act. With a quick, daring move, she manages to break free and knock Craig down for a moment. She pulls George out of the cage, and together they stumble through the dark corridors, fighting to survive. But their escape doesn't last long. They run straight into an abandoned, eerie building. An old, dusty clinic. The walls are thick with secrets. In the center, they find Mandy strapped to an operating chair, her eyes closed, her body limp. Kate's heart sinks. She looks dead, but there's no time to mourn. Craig is right behind them, a twisted smile creeping across his face. Panic floods Kate's veins as they're forced to flee again, leaving Mandy alone. And that's when it gets worse. Craig doesn't just kill her, he turns it into something wrong. A grotesque parody of an abortion. Kate and George run, but in the back of their minds, all they can hear is the scream that never came. Kate and George find themselves on an abandoned platform, the kind of place where nobody should be. But of course, this is where the nightmare catches up with them again. Craig's footsteps echo louder and louder as he gets closer. George isn't about to let Kate go down without a fight, though. He charges at Craig, throwing everything he has at the monster, but it's too late. Craig grabs him by the head and shoves a serrated blade straight through George's skull, pinning him to the wall. The sound of the blade slicing is like a sickening snap of fate. George's body slumps. Kate's heart races as she runs, but Craig's already on her heels. She's trapped, cornered. Fear grabs her, and for a moment she's lost. But then she sees it, a massive hook hanging on a long chain. Without thinking, she grabs it and drives it into Craig's throat, hoping for a miracle. As Craig stumbles back, Kate hears a distant train. Maybe this is it. Maybe she can finally escape. Desperate, she throws the other end of the chain over the tunnel, hoping it'll somehow electrocute him. But fate doesn't work that easily. The plan backfires, and Craig rises up again, angrier, stronger, and ready to finish what he started. He grabs a barrel and charges at Kate, his eyes wild with rage. But just when it seems like the end is near, the train comes. It smashes through the tunnel, knocking the chain and ripping Craig's throat wide open. He falls, finally, and he doesn't get up again. Kate, barely able to breathe, drags herself through the tunnel, her body bruised and broken. She stumbles back into Charing Cross Station. But this time, the world feels different. Tattered, dirty, and beaten down, she collapses onto the platform. And there, in a small moment of unexpected comfort, Ray the dog finds her again, curling up onto her lap as if he's the only thing left in the world that's real. The film ends on a haunting note. A man waiting for a train sees Kate, covered in dirt and blood, and assumes she's a beggar. He places a coin beside her, his face blank. But then, Kate's quiet sobs turn into eerie giggles, full of madness and fear. She laughs and cries, all at once, because at that moment, the world is just as broken as she is. What would you do if you were trapped in that station with the creep? Let me know in the comments. So if you liked this, hit subscribe and turn on notifications for more recaps. Thanks for watching. See you next time on Warner Movie Recaps.